So if you're someone that's dealing with high blood pressure, particularly a stubborn blood pressure, if you're someone that's dealing with a stubborn blood pressure issue where you're taking 2 or 3 different medications for this problem, I'm going to lay out a strategy for you to help you better understand how you can get to the root cause of this problem, because stubborn blood pressure issues are some of the worst types of blood pressure issues. It seems like you try this and try that, you take this pill, take this supplement, and it doesn't help. So if you're dealing with this type of blood pressure issue, this strategy that I'm about to lay out for you guys is going to help you get to the root cause of this problem. And this strategy is what I call the subtraction method. So I'm going to lay out this subtraction method. That way you can understand what you can do to correct this blood pressure issue. And you're not going to hear this strategy anywhere else because it's my strategy. I created this strategy. This is a strategy that I use directly in my one-on-one coaching. And this is a tool that you can use that I'm going to give to you guys to help you get started on this in this process. So this strategy is called the subtraction method. And the reason it's called the subtraction method is because healing begins with subtraction. You can't heal your body and correct your blood pressure issues without removing the causes of the problem. Healing begins with subtraction. In order to understand your blood pressure issues and what's fueling the problem, you must first subtract the things that are potentially causing the problem. And for many individuals, we really don't know what the problem is. We might have an idea, but we might not know. So understanding how to apply the subtraction method is going to guide you through the process of understanding what's triggering your blood pressure issues and removing them from your diet to allow for your body to heal and move in the right direction. The subtraction method is designed to open up the pathways of elimination and allow for your body's natural energies to flow the way that they need to. And the way you apply the subtraction method is that you want to start with your nutritional habits. When we talk about high blood pressure, we hear, it could be salt. We hear about the sugar, the processed foods, the fried foods. We hear about all the bad things that it could possibly be. And there's a lot of mixed information about what's good and what's bad. So sometimes we don't know. But with the subtraction method, this allows for you to start pulling things out. That way you can identify how it's triggering you and causing the problem. So with the subtraction method, far as nutrition, you want to understand 3 key aspects. And these 3 key aspects are going to be salt, oils, and sugars. Salt, oils, and sugar. Those are the first 3 things that you want to understand. Because when it comes to high blood pressure, especially that resistant type of blood pressure that you have to take multiple pills for, that you just struggling with, that resistant type of blood pressure could be fueled by multiple things. And salt, oils, and sugars are your big 3. So removing salt, oils, and sugars is going to open up those pathways of elimination and allow for your body to talk to you in regards to what's going on. And when I say talk to you, I mean your body language. Your body speaks to you every day. And unfortunately, many of us are not aware of how our body talks to us. We may feel the discomforts and things like that. That's body language. That's your body talking to you. A stomach ache, your body's talking to you. A headache, your body's talking to you. Aches and pains throughout, that's your body language. But on the flip side, a burst of energy when you wake up in the morning, that's your body language. Improved digestion, that's your body language. So understanding how to listen to your body through the subtraction method is going to guide you down a pathway. So when you're applying the subtraction method, the first thing that you need to do is eliminate all salt from your diet. And this is all salt. All processed foods, all salt in the form of table salt, pink Himalayan salt, every salt. You want to move all salt from the diet. Reason being, salt is a contributor to high blood pressure. Not in all people, but in enough people, in a lot of people. And with the subtraction method, this allows for you to understand if you're one of those people. So you can listen to, all the other gurus out there that say salt, do this, Celtic salt this, this, that, and that. You can listen to all that if you want to. But the only thing that's going to tell you the truth is your body. So you have to be willing to listen to your body language to understand if you're one of those individuals that this is impacting or not. So eliminating all salt from your diet is the first step of the subtraction method. All salt must go, no questions about it. And to understand that when it comes down to salt, salt is not a requirement for health. Your body doesn't need salt. Your body needs sodium. Sodium and salt are two different things. Salt is sodium chloride, which is a bonded chemical, and sodium is sodium. It's a natural element that all living things need. So understanding that removing salt from your diet, it's not going to harm you in any type of way. As long as you're eating enough whole foods, that's going to give you the sodium that you need. So applying this strategy of the subtraction method, eliminating all excess, all salt from the diet, this is going to open up multiple pathways of elimination. One of the first is going to be that it's going to cause you to lose water weight, because everywhere salt goes, everywhere excess sodium goes, water follows. So when you consume a diet that has salt in it, a lot of excess salt in it, this salt goes into the bloodstream. And now water comes into the bloodstream to prevent sodium concentration. And now you have an excess or a large volume of blood, and the heart has to pump harder in order to pump this blood through your cardiovascular system, which increases your heart rate. And in turn, your blood pressure follows right behind it. So applying this method of eliminating all salt from your diet, what this does is this shuts down this pathway, because now you decrease the amount of sodium inside of the bloodstream. And now when that sodium leaves the bloodstream, that water will follow it out of the cardiovascular system. And this is going to reduce your blood volume. And this is going to allow your heart to slow down and not have to pump so vigorously. And your blood pressure is going to start to come down as well. And doing this method, this closes off the sodium pathway. You can identify if the sodium is a trigger or not. And you'll be able to understand, like, damn, this sodium was really my problem. And you will see a reflection in your numbers. You will see a reflection in your health. You'll see a reflection in your energy levels. And this is your body speaking to you, telling you that, hey, this is a good thing that you're doing. You're doing something positive. Your numbers are coming down. Your weight is coming down. Keep going. And this will allow you to continue to move forward. Because when you reduce your sodium levels, not only do this excess water weight disappear, but your blood vessels start to soften up and become more elastic, because excess sodium stiffens the blood vessels. It makes them hard and stiff. But when you reduce it, now they start to relax a lot better, and the blood can flow through smoothly. Like, think of it like a fire hose. When you see the fire hydrant, when the fire department come and they turn on the fire hose and they turn it on full blast, we see the hose just get real stiff and water starts to flushing out at a high pressure. That's the same thing with your blood pressure. Basically, it's going too high and the arteries are stiff and tight, and sodium is something that contributes to it. So with the subtraction method, eliminating all excess salt and eliminating all salt from the diet is going to help you identify if this is your problem or not. And again, if you're dealing with a stubborn blood pressure issue, taking multiple medications, this is a strategy that you need to try, because without giving it a shot, you're not going to know if this is your problem. And the goal of correcting blood pressure issues is following the necessary steps and listening to your body to understand what's going on within. This is a you problem. You have to be willing to do the work to figure it out. So eliminating salt, all salts, is part of the subtraction method. Number 2 is going to be eliminating all processed sugars. All processed sugars, brown sugar, white sugar, cane sugar, agave, all sugars that are processed and deviated, that's changed from their natural form. All sugars are going to be next. Reason being, sugar is just as bad as salt, because sugar has a direct impact on what's called your endothelium system. Your endothelium system is is the protector of your cardiovascular system. And when you consume excessive amounts of processed sugars, whether it's in the form of candy, cereal, cookies, snacks, bread, whatever is in. If you're consuming this excessive amount of sugar, this is going to directly impact this endothelium system, which is the protector of your cardiovascular system, and this is going to negatively influence your blood pressure. How? Whenever you consume excess amounts of sugar, sugar basically it enters the bloodstream, and this buildup of sugar starts to destroy these cells, and it does this by producing what's called free radicals. And when these free radicals start to form inside of the body, they start to just cause hell everywhere throughout the cardiovascular system. They start breaking down and destroying every cell that's there. And when they're doing this, they're producing what's called oxidative stress. And this oxidative stress, it destroys all these cells and it wears down the blood vessels. It starts to break these blood vessels down. Now the blood vessels start to break down. Those cells that are supposed to protect the cardiovascular system, they're no longer able to dilate the blood vessels, widen them up so the blood can flow through smoothly. So everything starts to become stiff and tight. And now you see the increase in your blood pressure. So with the subtraction method, eliminating all forms of processed sugars is going to it's going to open up this whole pathway of elimination. It's going to open up this whole pathway of elimination and allow for your body to adjust to this process. And one thing about sugar is this. I like to call sugar a thief of the body. And the reason I say that it's a thief of the body is because no matter what type of processed sugars that you consume, when it comes to your body, it doesn't give you anything of value. And think of it like this. Let's say you throw a party, right? You have an event, you have a party. And then all of a sudden, a guest shows up to the party uninvited. He don't come with anything, don't have any gifts for anybody, yet he's leaving with everything. He's leaving with 2-3 plates. He's leaving with gifts that's supposed to be for somebody else. He's leaving with everything. That's not something that you want. And when it comes down to sugar, it's the same exact way, because sugar comes to the party, and in order for your body to properly metabolize it and utilize it, it needs other essential vitamins and minerals. So your body has to give up potassium, give up magnesium, give up vitamin D, give up other essential nutrients that are needed to regulate your blood pressure, just to eliminate sugar. That sugar basically came in, made you happy through some stimulation, but did not fulfill any job needed by your body. Yet it took away so many vital things as just to be eliminated. So when you go through the subtraction method and you eliminate this added sugars, all the processed sugars from your diet, this opens up another pathway of elimination, because now your body doesn't have to deal with all the excess sugars. Now it doesn't have to deal with all the free radicals roaming around the bloodstream, damaging the blood vessels. And now it can actually respond the proper way and allow for your blood cells, the endothelial cells, to start to rebuild themselves and start doing their job. Because these endothelial cells, they have 3 jobs. And that's basically to stay nice and tight, so as blood flow through, they can flow through the blood vessels nice and smooth. They also need to stay nice and tight so that nothing can penetrate in the blood vessels and get into the inner body. And then they're also supposed to stay nice and tight so they can dilate the blood vessels and widen them so the blood can flow through without their added resistance. But when those endothelial cells are damaged due to the excessive sugar consumption, they're not able to do their job, and now your health is compromised. And one thing about high blood pressure and correcting this issue, it all starts by rejuvenating the endothelium system. You have to rebuild your endothelium system and allow for these cells to function properly. And the subtraction method helps you remove those things that are causing the problem. And number 3 of the subtraction method is going to be understanding oils. And when it comes down to oils, we're talking all of them. We're talking avocado oil, olive oil, Western oil, every oil, coconut oil, all of them. When the subtraction method, you want to remove all potential causes. That's what it's all about. And it's not saying, oh, this isn't good for that or this isn't beneficial there. Yes, some of these oils have many great benefits. We're not knocking that. We're not saying that it's bad. But if you're trying to understand if this is a potential trigger for your blood pressure, what is it going to harm you to pull it out of your diet to understand how your body responds? You don't need oil to live. Oil is not something that you need, because I hear a lot of times, well, what about healthy fats? We need healthy fats. I get my healthy fats from your olive oils. Yeah, you need healthy fats, but olive oil isn't the best source of healthy fats. If you want the healthy fats from olive oil, eat the olive. If you want the healthy fats from the avocado oil, eat the avocado. If you want the healthy fats from, the coconut oil, drink the coconut water, and eat the coconut flesh. These are all processed items. You can live without oils. You can live without processed sugars. You can live without added salt. Those are all simple facts. And the subtraction method, it allows for you to identify if these three things are contributing to your blood pressure. And when it comes down to the oils that we're consuming, eliminating them helps you in several different pathways. Number one, oils are pure form of fat. They're just pure forms of fat and calories. So if you're dealing with excess weight and you're trying to lose weight, and if you're overweight and you have blood pressure issues, eliminating oils is probably going to be one of the best things that you can do. Reason being, because it's nothing but pure form of fat and calories. And when you eliminate this oil, you reduce those calories, you eliminate that excess form of fat, and you're not missing anything. And on top of it, there's many different studies out there that shows what's called the postprandial effects of oils on your cardiovascular system. And that's where the problem starts to come in at, because every time you consume oil, your blood vessels constrict. And when those blood vessels constrict, those same endothelial cells that are supposed to stay side by side to protect your cardiovascular system, they start to get damaged. They start to rub up against each other. And when they start to get damaged, they can't do the job that they need to do. And over the course of time, talking 5, 10, 20 years, now the endothelium system becomes so impaired that they start to dysfunction, and your blood pressure issues start to just go up and down because they're not able to produce the nitric oxide to dilate the blood vessels. They're not able to stay nice and tight to keep the blood flowing smooth. They start to get dislodged, and then plaque and cholesterol all starts to build up inside of these arteries. And that's what you don't want to happen. So understanding that when you eliminate the oils from your diet, this allows for your endothelium cells to rejuvenate themselves, because they're not all constricting and rubbing up against each other and causing problems. Eliminating those oils allows for them to actually rejuvenate themselves and rebuild the endothelium system to help open up the healing factors. And when you go through the subtraction method, you're pulling out the problems. It's not about nothing but identifying what the potential problem can be. And the better you get an understanding of salt, oils, and sugars, the better you can understand your blood pressure. And the most beautiful part about that, listen, the most beautiful part about the subtraction method, it doesn't cost you anything. It don't cost you nothing. You don't lose. What does it hurt you to say no to salt for 2 weeks to figure out how it works? It don't hurt you anything. Yeah, you got to make an adjustment to how you cook and season your food, but it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't cost you anything. You're saying no to a potential problem. Understanding if this is your problem or not, this will let you know if this is the problem. If it's not, okay, keep moving forward. Doing the same thing with sugar. Saying no to processed foods and processed sugars, it doesn't hurt you to do so. You don't lose anything. You're not losing any benefits. And you get to understand your body a lot more. Because how many of us on here can say that, yeah, I stopped eating salt, or I stopped eating sugar and oils, and nothing happened. Many of us have never tried anything like this. And one thing that you have to understand, if you want change, you have to do things that are different from what you're used to doing. You want change and you want to correct these blood pressure issues, you got to switch up the game. Because right now, if you're following the same standard that they've been preaching for the last 30 years, you ain't getting no results. You in the same rat race everybody else in. It's as simple as that. And the subtraction method provides you with the blueprint of pulling things out that are problematic, that are known to be problematic, and allowing for your body to tell you what's next. That's all it's about. The only person that's answering that you have to listen to is yourself. Your body's going to tell you if it works or if it doesn't work. And that's what you need to know. And that's how you're going to eliminate this stubborn blood pressure issue and regain control of your health through subtraction. The subtraction method is how you do it. Now, once you complete this subtraction method, this is what's very important, because healing begins with subtraction. Once you complete this subtraction method, now it's time to start to rebuild the body. And this is where you want to, hey, Kellen, come here. Do me a favor, grab my book real quick. So this is where you want to start to, check on my bed, it might be enough. This is where you want to start to rebuild the body. When you go through the subtraction method, pulling all these things that, bring them around, you sit them right up. When you go through the subtraction method and pull these things out of your body, come on, man, don't do that. Please don't do that. When you go through the subtraction method and pull these things out of your body, now you want to rebuild your body and build up these nutritional storages. And this is what's going to be important. So when it comes to the rebuilding cycle, this is where you want to start to add those healthy foods in. Because one of the things most people say this, they're like, oh, what can I eat to fix my blood pressure? Or what can I take to correct my blood pressure? So understanding subtraction, healing starts with subtraction. Remove those things first, and then you put those building foods in. Because if you're eating foods that are bad for you, and then trying to eat foods that are healthy at the same time, you're just going to cancel yourself out. And that's what you don't want to do. So when it comes down to the rebuilding phase, this is where those whole foods are going to come into play at. And understanding those essential vitamins and minerals are going to be key. This is going to be where you understand your potassium, your magnesium, understanding the calcium, the antioxidants, all those essentials that are needed to help you regulate your blood pressure. And this is how you start adding those whole foods, your fresh fruits, your vegetables, even your whole grains. All of those things are going to provide you with the nutrients to build afterwards. And once you open up those pathways of elimination by subtracting and removing those foods, now you can actually start to rebuild your body and get better control. And your body will be much more responsive because it doesn't have to worry about eliminating all those problematic and toxic things that you were consuming. And it can focus on just simply rebuilding and reconstructing, rejuvenating those cells and allowing for the body to just continue to move in the right direction. Because one thing about the body is this. The body is designed to heal. Every cell in your body wants to live in the highest fashion available. No cell wants to die. The cells wants to live. But our lifestyle ultimately dictates the flow of things. So we have to be willing to provide our body with the resources that it needs to thrive at the highest level. And going through the subtraction method of eliminating those problematic foods, the salts, the oils, the sugars, that's going to open the door for this rejuvenation process, because there's no healing without subtraction. You have to subtract first. You can't worry about what to eat and what to eat first. You start with the subtraction method, eliminating all things that can potentially cause the problem, and then you want to go ahead and rebuild the body. And that's where you have to understand the other areas of your lifestyle that impacts you to help you continue to move forward. And in my book, The High Blood Pressure Breakdown, this helps individuals understand how this process and this method work. The High Blood Pressure Breakdown, as well as the High Blood Pressure Cookbook. Those are all tools that are available for you guys. And that way you can have the understanding of how to move through and address your blood pressure issues. Because if you're just shooting your shot in the dark and, I'm going to eliminate salt, or I'm going to eat this, or I'm going to take this herb here or take that, you're going to be spinning in the circle for the next 10, 20 years. Ask the person next to you that's taking blood pressure medication. Many people on these pills 5, 10, 20 years with no results. And that's what you don't want to do, because this damage is consistently happening. So understanding different tactics and strategies that you can use and apply is going to help you get to the root cause of the problem. So the subtraction method, eliminating salt, oils, and sugars, and removing all problems, so removing all potential problems. And after you remove all potential problems, now you want to add those health promoting foods to the mix to build up your nutritional storages and provide your cells with everything that you need. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer a couple of these questions up here. That way, kind of engage with you guys a little bit. I saw a lot of questions come in. I'm gonna start from the bottom and way up. Can we? Oh, thanks, Kellen. We got the same name, bro. Yep. Hey, peace to all the Kellens. Can I buy your book from Amazon? Yes. My book is available on Amazon. We got the high blood pressure breakdown and the high blood pressure cookbook, as well as a couple other books that are on there as well. But the easiest way to actually get it is just clicking on my name or my logo and going to my website. That way you can see these tools that are available there. What other questions? Any questions you guys have? Just drop it in. 2 weeks off salt and I'm going to try it. I miss the taste. One thing about it is that when you eliminate salt from your diet, the initial starting phase are challenging because we're used to having salt in everything that we've done, that we eat, and everything that we consume. So understanding that if you're eliminating salt, your taste is going to change. Your palate is going to change. And the thing about it is it takes your taste buds anywhere between 7 and 21 days, depending on how perverted they may be. It takes them between 7 and 21 days to actually change over to a lower sodium type of diet. So, there are different things that you can use to season your food with if you're not using salt. And one of the things I recommend as a stepping stone is what's called coconut aminos. And what coconut aminos is, it's basically a marinade. It has a small amount of sea salt in it, but much less than just using regular salt. And what it does is after you finish preparing your food, you just put a little dabble on top of it. It makes it more palatable, and it allows for it to have a flavor profile that you can consume and deal with as you're transitioning. And it's a tool that can help guide you through this process. And this is where I'm just understanding what your resources are. That way you're just not out there on the island trying to do something. So coconut aminos is something that you could use to help replace salt. What's a good blood pressure monitor? I have an Omron, and when I go to the doctor, the readings are always totally different. When it comes down to monitors, most of them are pretty good. The main thing is that you want to make sure it's AHA certified, American Heart Association certified. And basically, if you're having that issue where, your blood pressure readings are lower at home but higher in the doctor, that could be like a little white coat syndrome or, some anxiety that's floating around. So one of the things you can ask for your doctor is like a ambulatory blood pressure monitor, which is a 24-hour monitor that you can take with you, and it takes your reading throughout the day. You take it back to the doctor, and they could just read the accurate data when you're outside of the medical setting. So if you're having trouble with your blood pressure being lower at home and higher at the doctor's office, that's what an option is, an ambulatory blood pressure monitor. You can order those off of Amazon as well. They're like $100, but just telling your doctor, they might have one laying around somewhere. They can just hand it to you and say, okay, plug up, and here you go. Can you actually reverse congestive heart failure? I have a great book on that, and it is actually over here. And I know the name. This is a great book. It's for congestive heart failure. It's called Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn Jr. It's a very great book. He also practices a lot of great methods when it comes down to heart disease and heart failure, those types of issues. So Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease is a great tool. I learned so much from reading that book. And the thing about it is I read that book probably once a month almost. It's a great tool. And if you're dealing with any heart issues, heart failure, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn is a very, very, very great book to actually use. I'm in the process of following a similar process and have gone from 4 hypertension meds to 1. I just bought your cookbook to help my nutritional input. There you go. And you're taking action. And, that's what it's all about, taking action. Most of us are looking at we know we have these issues. We're looking at the problem, and we're spending more time trying to decide what course of action we want to take instead of starting to do things. If you want to correct the problem, you can't just sit there and look at it. You got to actually get going, start trying stuff. Take something and throw it against the wall. See if it stick. See how your body responds. Because ultimately, your body is the dictator of everything. If you do something and it works, keep doing it till it don't work. Simple as that. If you do something and it don't work, move on to the next strategy. And that's the way you're going to understand how your body responds to these types of issues. So I appreciate you for purchasing the cookbook, and I'm glad that you're down from 4 medications back to 1, because that's a testament that you're moving in the right direction. You're getting control of this blood pressure, and you're getting better control. What about unsalted butter instead of oils? I don't like to use butter, mainly because, again, I don't like to use any of those things because they're pure forms of fat that's just unnecessary. When we learn how to cook, we always use, mind you, I was a chef for about almost 11, 12 years on a high level. I traveled around the country, opened up many different restaurants, 22 to be exact. And I did all type of cuisines. And what we use oil for is basically to create what's called the Maillard effect. And the best way to explain the Maillard effect without going all chef on you guys is that when let's say you cook a pancake on the griddle, right? And it gets that little golden brown crust on it that's nice and crispy and crunchy that tastes so good. That's the Maillard effect. That's what oil is all about. Creating that Maillard effect and making sure things don't stick to the pan. That's all oil is really created for. Now, the thing is that cooking without oil is not as hard as it seems. The main thing about cooking without oil is cooking on a medium to medium high heat, meaning between 6 and 7. That way it's not too hot that it burns things, but it's not too low where it takes forever to cook. And having a non-stick pan is going to help. And when it comes down to non-stick, I keep forgetting if it's the Teflon pan or the other stainless type pan. One of them's not good for you. I totally forget it sometimes. But having a quality non-stick pan is going to help you make sure that you're not burning and just overdoing the things that you're cooking. And the only thing that you need to do is make sure that you have a small water bottle next to you. In the water bottle, you can have water, you can have vegetable broth, you can have whatever type of liquid that you need. And that way you can just make sure you add a couple drops to the pan to make sure that it's not sticking, because you put a drop of water inside, the steam is going to release whatever food is sticking to the pan, and that's going to allow for it to continue to cook without sticking and burning, as well as just having it on a low heat. So just cooking without oil is not as challenging as it seems. It's just different. Because you're like, damn, no oil, I'm going to burn. You know what I'm saying? It's something bad going to happen because I never did it before. It doesn't necessarily work like that. Just having a tactic and a strategy and knowing how to do these things, is going to really help you just get better control, get better understanding, and just keep moving forward. Does the body need the same salt? And again, this is back to the same thing. When it comes down to salt, your body doesn't need salt. Your body needs sodium. Sodium and salt are two different things. They're completely different. Sodium is one thing, salt is the other one. Salt is sodium chloride and sodium is sodium. And when it comes down to it, listen, and this goes back to body language again. And this is one of the best examples I can give you for body language. When you look at something like pepper, right? Let's say pepper. When you pick up pepper and you smell it, the first thing your body does is sneezes. A sneeze is body language. This is like your body saying, yo, something just went up in here. It triggered me. I don't like it. Get it out. A sneeze is an expulsion of air from the nose, allowing your body to discharge anything that came in. Same thing with a cough. A cough is an expulsion of air from the lungs. A cough is an expulsion of air from the lungs, allowing for your body to eliminate anything that tried to come into the system. Now, when it comes down to salts, think of it like this, and then I get a lot of flack for this, but think of it like this. If you pick up a pinch of salt, whether it's pink Himalayan salt, iodine salt, whatever type of salt, get a little pinch of salt, put it in your hand, and then sprinkle it on your tongue. When you do that, the first thing your body says is, this is salty, I don't like this. And that's an outward form of rejection. Simple as that. Just like drinking alcohol. You take a shot of alcohol, you're like, oh man, and then, we kind of get right back to it and things like that. But we have to understand, when your body talks to you, you have to listen. Anything that your body frowns upon and says, just like it doesn't taste good, it doesn't sit well, your body's going to respond to it. And this is telling you that your body doesn't necessarily want it. But when it comes down to salt, we've been accustomed to consuming it in the fashion of just sprinkle it on top of our food and just microdosing ourselves to enjoy the foods that we're consuming. Because when you think about it like this, salt is initially a poison to the body. It's a poisonous item. And when you look at things like the Master Cleanse, I'm not sure how many people may be familiar with the Master Cleanse. And what the Master Cleanse entails is like a saltwater flush. And we think of the saltwater flush as helping just eliminate anything that's built up in the digestive system and causing us to have some diarrhea and push things out. But we have to understand how it actually works to the body. It's not just a flush, but we have to understand how it flushes. Because that excess amount of salt that you're consuming in the salt water, this salt is causing a poison response inside of your body. And the poison response is going to happen in two ways. It's either you're going to vomit it back up, or it's going to bypass your vomit reflex and you're going to poop it all out the back end. And that's essentially what a saltwater flush is. And what's beneficial about it, because remember, everything good has some bad to it, everything bad has some good to it. What's beneficial about the saltwater flush is when it gets expelled from the body, it pulls everything that's bad with it. Everything that needs to come out, it pulls it with it, which will help you temporarily with your digestion. It will help eliminate any other things that may be compacted in the digestive system, and it can be beneficial through many different ways. But what we have to understand is that when it comes down to high blood pressure, and if you're someone that's dealing with a sodium sensitivity, you must be willing to forego some of these items to better understand. And it doesn't mean that you got to go without salt the rest of your life, but it means that you need to identify if this is a potential problem or not. Because for some of us, for many of us, it is. For others, it might not be that big of a deal. But getting to the root cause of your blood pressure requires that you go on a journey of understanding, and removing some of these things are going to be very, very important. So with that being said, I do appreciate you all for tuning in. My high blood pressure breakdown book, as well as my high blood pressure cookbook, those are all available through the link in my bio. Just click on the link and it'll take you to my website. And if you have any other questions, just feel free to DM me or just send me a message, and we can chop it up then. So peace and blessings, everybody, and take care.